everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Lori, and this is the third and final installment on, just understanding who your authentic self is. How can you create that? What does that even feel like? So in our first video, let's do a little recap. In our first video, I was talking about what do you spiritually align with? What do you spiritually align with? What do you believe in? What feels good to you? Number two, in the second video, was who are you? Like, who are you defined as? Not as your role, not as what you do, not as a spouse, mom, teacher, doctor, none of that. It's, are you an adventurer? Are you a creative? Are you a dreamer? Are you an executor? Like, to execute things? Are you a planner, but in a good way? Like, who are you? Okay. So now you're starting to feel a little bit better about yourself. You're like, oh my God, I'm starting to take back some of my power. So now's a good time for you to ask yourself, what are your morals? What are your morals? They will be different than maybe mine, and that's okay. And when I say morals, not morals of judgment, morals of like, what do you believe in? What do you believe in if you have a political affiliation? Do you believe in that? Why do you believe in it so strongly? Does that align with you? Do you want to change it? Do you want to understand more? Okay. Spiritually, we already talked about. So we have religion or spirituality. We have politics. We have family. What do you believe a family is? Now, do you believe, because family is great, but family isn't always blood. Related and family are two different things. You can be related to somebody and definitely not be family. And you can be friends with somebody or just vibe with somebody and be massive family. Okay. So ask yourself what it is family means. Now you want to be careful of the codependency, right? Because family doesn't mean, oh, well, I'm there for you for like whenever you need me. Yes, sorta. Yes, but not at the drop of a hat. I mean, obviously if it's some big emergency, of course. But I mean, if somebody just wants to vent, no, you don't owe it to them to be there at the drop of a hat, nor do they to you. You can say, listen, I'm not in a space to hear you right now, but give me till 7 o'clock. I'll call you back, right? Because you don't want somebody who isn't engaged with you because they're busy, they're thinking about something else, they're just exhausted. You want somebody's undivided, so to speak, attention, and you want to be able to give it to somebody. So you have to establish what it is that you believe. What does that look like? What is peaceful to you? By the way, while discovering this authenticity, you're also starting to establish boundaries, because you're like, okay, well, if this doesn't serve me, if this isn't what I believe in, I'm not going to judge it. I'm going to observe it and say, oh, this isn't really my gig. This isn't really my jam. And that's okay. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to roll with it. But it gives you a space to say, okay, I can distance from it. It's going to make it easier for you to distance from things that you don't believe in. So what do you believe in politically? What do you believe in life-wise? What do you believe in health-wise? What do you believe in that? I didn't say judge. What feels good to you? Not what do you believe based on what your family taught you. What do you believe? If you want to eat seaweed every day, then eat seaweed every day. Just because somebody might go, I don't like seaweed. Well, they don't have to. You're not asking them to eat it, right? I know it sounds silly, but believe it or not, that's a thing. Right. And it helps to establish your negotiables and your non-negotiables in your life. In turn, that is creating a boundary. Right. So as you get clear into what it is that you believe, what feels good for you. I mean, it's always good, like before you have kids with somebody. It doesn't always work this way, but because sometimes you just have kids with somebody, you haven't even had that discussion. But let's say you were going to have kids with somebody. Let's say having kids was your thing. Well, what kind of parenting strategy do you guys have? You're like, well, I don't know, I don't have a kid yet. Yeah, I might be interested to know, because that can cause problems. If two people have a vast difference of understanding and not willing to compromise, do you really want to have a kid with that person? You see what I mean? So do you see how this starts to establish a boundary, but you're not judging them? So you have to ask yourself, what do you believe about money, right? What do you believe about money? Do you believe that money is the root of all evil? It can be, but you don't have to look at it that way. Are you giving power over money? Why are you giving power over money? I've had financial anxieties all my life due to like how I grew up and stuff, but much better now. It creeps its head up, right? Old past traumas. I don't give it life. I just process it. But you have to ask yourself, what do you truly believe in? Because that's how you're going to live your life, based on what morals you have. And morals you have means that you're not judging someone, but you want to make sure that the person who you're surrounding yourself with, a friend, a family, well, more so, not so much friends, because you can see differently, but like a lover or a partner, you want to make sure that you have a similar, not the same, because that's just weird. You like a little bit of diversity. It shouldn't always be surrounding yourself just with people who believe what you believe, because you'll never grow. You'll never learn. But intuitively, like for yourself, for a relationship, like some people, and I see it all the time. I saw it a lot during COVID, like, for the political things, like, you had one person in the family believe this, one person in the family believe that, and that became really problematic. And you have to accept that people can have a different viewpoint than you, and it doesn't make it wrong. And so when you get clear into what it is that you actually believe about your life, about money, about your bills, about those things, really will help set all of these other things into motion, because now we know who you are. We know what you believe in. You're okay with other people not believing in the same thing. You're not upset that they don't. You're not trying to force it, and you're not even listening to them try to change you. So this creates, again, this is really a big view. It's going to take a long time, and you're going to have to maintain this. So it's going to take you a long time to figure out who your authentic self is. But then it's up to you. Now you know what you believe in. How are you going to show up for yourself? Right? So now we know somewhat as who your authentic self is. How are you showing up for yourself? That's great. You have boundaries with everybody else. That's great. You know what you believe in spiritually and all these things. But how are you showing up for yourself? What's your commitment level to your authentic self? What is your commitment level to you? How do you show up for you when you don't want to show up for you? Stop with the motivation. It's BS. Motivation's not real. Yes, you can be inspired to do things, but what about the days that you're not inspired? What do you deserve? What you deserve goes into what you believe, right? In this piece of it, what do you deserve? You believe. I believe to be treated well, but I'm going to do that for myself first. Because you don't get to say I deserve to be treated well in a relationship, and then you're neglecting yourself left and right. That is the biggest hypocrisy on the planet. Can't do that. So you got to ask yourself, to be authentic, how are you showing up for your authentic self? What sacrifices are you willing to make? Some people are going to be really pissed off about it. How are you going to accept that piece, that it's okay for them to be upset because you are protecting your peace? That's remaining authentic within your boundaries, because you worry about all these other people with boundaries, but you're not showing up for yourself. So when you know your morals, you know how you're going to believe, you know how you're going to practice, you're not forcing it on anyone, but you're also showing up for yourself to do it, because for X amount of years, you never knew who you were. This isn't a one and done. This isn't a one-off. You're going to watch 3 videos and all of a sudden you're authentic. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Got to stop rushing that process. And so when you're clear on that, now we start to develop the authenticity. And you really only know who you are authentically when you're dating yourself. You have to have a relationship with yourself. Take yourself on a date, journal, get to pour yourself a glass of wine, talk to yourself, be with yourself. What does this mean? Working through your stuff, working through your past traumas is one of the biggest gifts you can give yourself. Yes, it's scary. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it takes a long time. Yes, it's a nightmare at times. Yep, it is. But do you deserve that? Does your authentic self deserve that? Because for so long, you haven't been authentic. You've been putting your life on hold. There has been no authenticity. There's been, okay, I'll please you. Okay, I'm a robot. I do all these things and check all the boxes that I'm supposed to do. Here we go. Here we go. I'm miserable. I guess this is life. Now you're always chasing something to make you feel whole. You can't find that anywhere but here. And as you incorporate, keep this little series on like favorites or something and go back to it often, because you're supposed to go forward. You're supposed to go backwards. You might be like, yeah, this is what I believe in now. And then something happens and now you're like, oh my God, is this really what I believe in? Oh my God, is this gaslighting? What's happening? You're allowed to do that. If you, for even 1 ounce, think that every part of your journey is going to be fast or going to be just a straight shot, no. You're going to go backwards. That's how you're going to execute it and know what it is that you truly believe in. And that's how we start to build our authenticity. Having a solid spiritual foundation, an understanding as to what it is that you like to do that fills your soul, that fills that soul, and knowing what you believe in to function in the society that we live in. That's how you develop your authentic self. And you're okay with knowing that some of the people that were in your life prior to knowing who you were authentically and who benefited from you not having boundaries may not like it, and they may not be in your life anymore. It might suck, but you're going to have to get over it, because you have to ask yourself, who's more important? Why are you valuing them and their opinion and their comfort Why are you valuing that over your own self? And when you get authentic, you're compassionate to others, you have a better relationship with people around you. It's longevity, it's sustainability, it's respectful, it's mutual, not codependent. But where does that come from? You. It comes from you being authentic. So let me know what your next steps are down in the comments. I would love to hear it. But that's a wrap on the series of Finding Who You Are Authentically.